Gotham City, 1939. There's no end in sight for the Great Depression. Unemployment drives citizens to a life of crime at a soaring rate. Nazi-controlled Germany instills anxiety all across the globe. As the promise of a new decade looms over Gotham, it gives birth to the creation of the best character fiction has ever seen. A vigilante known as the Batman.
Now locking.
Because today, I bring you a reimagined telling of the Dark Knight's earliest days, inspired by his first appearance in 1939. You deserve cinema. A chilling man sips a glass of whiskey and talks into a radio, telling his men to ready themselves. When the time comes, they will strike from the darkness and profit from the chaos the world will soon see. Commissioner Jim Gordon makes his way through a sea of reporters and steps into the latest crime scene Gotham has to offer. Seems a couple of oversized men walked into the restaurant and decapitated Councilman Hodges, and all the witnesses were too shook up to give a statement, all except his mistress. Turns out it's a terrible time to be a city official, because this is the third installment in a reoccurring sequence of events. As Gordon walks out of the restaurant, Bruce Wayne offers him a ride where they discuss gruesome murders haunting the city and Gordon's admiration for the mystical presence known as the Batman. The average citizens of Gotham despise Bruce Wayne for his money in a time where they can't afford shoes for their kids. Little do they know Bruce changes into Batman as Gordon is pressed by the mayor to find the killers as fast as possible. When the mayor gets a knock on the door, he puts down the phone, ignoring Gordon's warning to get out of there. But as two monster men wielding butcher knives make their way through the door, Batman comes crashing through the skylight, doing his best to beat the brakes off of the deformed creeps. But the more he punches them, the more they keep on coming. As one smashes his face into the floor, another follows the mayor and his wife to the bedroom. Batman attacks the monster with a gas pellet and leads him to the roof where he manages to steal one of the knives before he's cracked over the head and tossed off the roof. As the monsters hunt him down to finish him off, a rabbi gives Batman shelter at a synagogue. After he runs off, he pulls up to Wayne Manor where a couple of good-looking actors knock on his door to question why his company pulled the funding for their movie. Later on, he dusts the knife for fingerprints under a magnifying glass and then appears in Jim Gordon's window for the first proper introduction, where he asks Gordon to get him a match, seeing as he doesn't have the resources for it. Because he doesn't have a bat computer yet, dummy. Batman heads over to a brothel to squeeze the owner for information on the monster men. And even though he doesn't believe it at the time, he gets word from one of the girls that they're actually Frankenstein freaks that can't be hurt because they're already dead. He also gets word that Gordon didn't get a match on the fingerprint because the knife belonged to a man sentenced to be executed. And this is where the puzzle pieces start to set in, so Batman shows up to the execution scheduled for tonight and turns off the generators, taking out the lights to the whole prison and freeing the accused from the electric chair, because the man is being set up for something inhuman. But things don't go as smooth as they could have, because the guards rush in and beat Batman over the face and stick him in the electric chair. They flip the power back on and spark up the chair, absolutely frying Batman. And that is where the chapter comes to an end. But if you want to see what happens next, then leave a comment with one emoji that sums up this story, and make sure you're subscribed.